Well, Monday Night Raw continues to be the A show, or maybe just the B show, because there really is no A show in WWE right now. But we are going to talk about the key moments from the show from April the 27th, the year of our TKO, and break it all down. So, with that, welcome to the 716 Sports Entertainment Podcast. I am Mike, joined by Mr. Sean O'Neill. And Sean, as I said, Monday Night Raw continues to be the B plus show. So, how'd you feel about last night's episode?
So not even that. I think with how bad SmackDown is, we just call Raw the show because honestly, as of right now, it is the only one worth watching. I mean, there were several parts of this show. I mean, the whole show itself wasn't perfect, but there were several parts to it that were absolutely fantastic, and it more than makes up for the lesser aspects of it, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Let's get right into it. Let's talk about obviously, the opening and or closing of the show. So Roman Reigns and the Usos opened the show with a pre-tape segment telling them, Roman basically very Godfather-esque, if you will, sitting there telling them he's going to leave the past in the past, but he only trusts the two of them, and he kind of goes on to say, "Hey, I don't understand why Jacob where Jacob Fatu is coming from. I don't really understand, why this dude has been on the roster for the last 2 years, and he's kind of only, you know, not really taking advantage of anything." He goes on, why does Jacob want this? The dude is dangerous, but at the same time, there's going to have to more or less be consequences, right? And then to close out the show, Roman obviously makes his way to the ring, expecting to get Jacob's decision from last week, which brings out Jacob, who cuts a probably one of the best promos I've heard him cut in all of WWE, basically going on about how he made his decision immediately. Like he would not have come out and did what he did had he not wanted that title. And he wants that title because, he was broke and his family had nothing and he wanted to, he wants it all. He wants the money, he wants the power, he wants everything that comes with being the champion. This obviously led to, Roman kind of cutting him down a little bit. And then Jacob got pissed, took a swing, and literally like choked Roman out to the point where Roman looked like visibly uncomfortable. And then as Jacob made his way back up the ramp, Roman was like, fine, backlash, we're on. So it's a pretty dope segment. I really very much enjoyed it. And I thought that both of these guys did a great job. As I mentioned, I thought Jacob was particularly fantastic here, given that sometimes his promos have been a bit lacking, but when he kind of taps into that realism, if you will, I think he does a much better job. And I think that's the kind of thing he needs to continue to go with.
So first things first, I like that this is a different way to present the bloodline. I mean, if we're going to be doing the bloodline again, it can't just be copy and paste of the bloodline version 1. It needs to be approached in a different way. And I think they showed that with the Roman actually asking Jimmy and Jay their thoughts on things and valuing their opinion. And I really enjoyed that first segment. I like that he didn't refer to them as the bloodline. He called them the first family at the end. I like that. And then I really like the realism of this storyline. I like that it's not just like, oh, well, some sort of stupid story for him going after Roman. It's, I want what you have. You have all the power. I want to be at the top of the card. I love it. I think that's fantastic. And the fact that I couldn't tell you the last time I saw somebody use the Tongan death grip on somebody. And I think that if Jacob is going to be channeling Sika and Afa of the Wild Samoans, which it seems like I've heard several people talking about him doing, Roman could be in for an interesting run here.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. And I don't know if I loved this part of it, but Roman really completely buried Solo here as well in part of his promo, where basically it was like, dude can't even get a cup of coffee without me giving him permission to do so. So I had to sign off on you coming here, not Solo, which I
I,
also found to be super interesting as well and kind of funny.
I thought it was funny. I think that I don't know if I quite consider it a burial. I think it was just more of an emphasis of Roman's power overall than anything else.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. So after the vignette to open the actual show, Seth Rollins comes to the ring to air his grievances against Bron Breakker, who he blames for his loss to Gunther. And for Roman Reigns having the World Heavyweight Championship, he tells Bron Breakker to come down to the ring, and we're going to air this stuff out right now. Breakker does with Paul Heyman, and he asks Breakker basically point blank. I'm just reading this on my notes here. So, what did you gain from putting me out of action? What did you gain from costing me my match at WrestleMania? Hell, what did you gain from costing me the main event of the at WrestleMania? Because I would have been the champion. And he basically was like, you know, more or less just giving him a hard time about that, which Breaker then originally passed the microphone to Paul Heyman, but Paul Heyman gave it back to him. And he's like, look, dude, you said you needed, you said that we were all team and that you were going to make us all great. You just use us as lackeys, basically, to fight all of your battles for you. And he was like, look, Rollins, I never needed you. I needed Paul Heyman, which Rollins kind of seemed like he got a chuckle out of a little bit. Then he kind of started talking about Breaker's NXT run a little bit, where he went to Shawn Michaels and was like, "Hey, give me your best. I want to fight your best." And it kind of was a callback to when Paul Heyman was in NXT, being like, "Look, Braun, you're going to have a future." And it was interesting that they did that because it was like one throwaway segment that you might not have even seen had
Yep.
you not watched that one particular episode of NXT. He did kind of, however, make fun of Austin Theory and Logan Paul, which we'll talk about them in a little bit later, which was kind of hilarious. Um, then ultimately, it kind of devolved down a little bit where he was like, listen, you're not even the best in your own family, referencing Scott Steiner. And, ultimately threw the mic at him and walked out to have later be a match made for Backlash between these two.
This
So,
is a
again, an excellent segment. And I'll let you take it away on this one.
this is another one where your point about the realism played a major factor. That was what I wanted to say real quick there was the the storyline approach to this of just not overthinking it. Like WWE has a habit of sometimes over storytelling when there's very often times where just you tell the simplest story. And this is 100% a case of that. You have you go back to everything that's gone on between the two of these guys. I mean, Seth demanding to know what was wrong, why he did this. And I just think that I really like the fact that it didn't come to blows. And I really liked Seth's Steiner comment about not even being the best in his family. And I think that I really liked him telling Braun that he wasn't actually ready. Like, I don't know if he wins, if Braun wins the first match at Backlash. Part of me thinks he shouldn't. I think this needs to be more than one and done.
Yeah.
And I think Braun needs to sort of overcome and prove to Seth that he is ready. So I would have him lose this first match and prove Seth's point. But that's just my personal thoughts.
No, I think that that makes sense. I think Braun needs to win the series
Yes.
because I'm in between a little bit of a rock and a hard place here because of what happened a little bit later with Oba Femi. Um, I think Oba's a bigger star, and I think that I would rather the title was on Oba
Right
versus
now, yes.
Braun Breaker. Yeah, versus Braun Breaker. I think Braun Breaker needs like that time away really hurt Braun Breaker. And I think
Yep.
honestly, Braun Breaker losing to CM Punk also kind of hurt Braun Breaker a little bit. And I just think Obafemi's star right now is on the rise, and I think Braun Breakers is kind of stalled out a little bit. And I think we need to put some more polish on him before we can get him right back into him needing because he will be champion at some point. He should be, but
Yeah.
I just don't think I put him first in line to be champion right now.
No, you're 100% right. He got hurt at the worst possible time because it allowed Oba with the Brock program to overtake him as far as the upswing of their careers at the moment.
Yeah. No, you're exactly right. But it's good that he's back. It's good that like the Vision can kind of stop being a comedy act, which we will actually talk about now, because it kind of led into the it did lead into sort of an interesting thing that sort of happened with Seth backstage. That's why we'll kind of talk about it now. So Joe Hendry had a concert on WWE, and we're obviously not going in order here. We'll talk about the matches that happened in between in a minute here, but I wanted to bring this up because it kind of went into something that happened with Seth. So and the Vision. So Joe Hendry had a concert, which was hilarious. Making fun of, talking about the roster, but then ultimately making fun of Logan Paul and saying how he should be fired, which had me dying. It was one of the
Yep.
best parts of the show. Correct way to do comedy. And this obviously brought out Austin Theory and Logan Paul. And, this quickly just delved into fisticuffs and they were kind of beating down Joe Hendry a little bit. But this brought out the Street Profits to make the save. And, they all kind of did the Joe Hendry wave and it was funny. But the point I wanted to make here was the thing backstage where Seth approached the Street Profits and it looked like he was going to say something to them. And they were like, dude, we didn't do this for you. We want the tag team titles. And I thought that was wildly interesting because I was kind of convinced there was going to be some kind of like faction thing going on, but instead it's just like, nope, they're just doing their thing. And it's going to be interesting to see how they all sort of play together and even hell where they go with Joe Hendry with all of this.
So I think there still is going to be a faction thing. I think that Seth was going up to them to thank them for basically for helping him, like something he wouldn't do, and be like, you know what, thank you for doing that. It, like based on the look on his face afterwards. So I think we're gonna tell some sort of story there of Seth not being quite so self-centered. You know what I mean? And then obviously we're gonna get a program between the Profits and the Vision for the titles. And we're no doubt going to have Joe Hendry get the typical Logan Paul match that we always get with the new people. So I think that that's where we're going with that.
Yeah, you're probably right. I mean, it's sort of just a WWE trope at this point that every new person gets a Logan Paul match. So, speaking of matches, we did have a couple of matches that we should talk about here. So, the first match on the show, Penta versus Rusev, which was certainly interesting booking here. But before this match even got a chance to get going, my boy, all ego, Ethan Page, I love him. I love him. Made his way to not do commentary, but basically just to sit there and watch. And obviously, he was kind of a little bit involved in the decision, which allowed Penta to get the roll up win over Rusev, leading to those two guys, leading to the heels to ultimately beat down Penta before Javon Evans comes in and makes the save. I have a feeling this is just going to be a program between these four guys for a while based on the way this went down last week, which I'm perfectly okay with. Gets a few new people in the IC title mix. And I mean, I know Rusev was technically in the ladder match and so was Javon Evans. But, getting Ethan Page involved, especially given his history with Javon Evans, I think is smart. And it's a good place to put him, Ethan Page, being a fresh call up, like right into the sort of this icy title picture. And I think he's getting a good crowd reaction so far, which I think bodes well for him.
I wouldn't be surprised if we get a tag team match at Backlash, and then following that, it works its way into some sort of four-way match for the Intercontinental belt. And honestly, I'd be fine if that belt got passed around between those four guys for 6 months.
Yeah, me too. I mean, not that I want Penta to lose, but I think all four of those guys should get some kind of run with it. Rusev's been doing good work lately, so
Yeah.
I do definitely want to reward him. I still think it's too soon for Javon Evans, given that he's so young. But then again, I could say the same thing about Ethan Page, just that his newness to the roster, but he's a little bit older and he's been around a little bit longer. So, but I still think, all four of those guys deserve a shot with that belt and maybe, like a couple of months reign here. And yeah, maybe leading to a fatal four-way between all four of those guys at SummerSlam could be a lot of fun.
So if you ask me to book it, I would have Javon Evans be the last one to win it and have him win it off Ethan Page. That way gets the experience before then. Because Ethan Page has been around in wrestling for quite a time. So it's not like he's a rookie. I mean, he may be a rookie to WWE, but he is a pretty well traveled entertainer.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Next, we had Becky Lynch come down to cut her usual Donald Trump promo about Sports Illustrated and Bleacher Report saying she's the best. Went on about vanquishing the vile AJ Lee and basically, which kind of was a theme for this show, called for an open challenge, which interestingly brought out Io Sky. And they had, I mean, probably the best match on the show. I mean, it went for a while. They gave both of these ladies time. Io is awesome, and especially if you pair her with somebody as good as Becky, you're going to get a great match. They had an absolutely banger of a match, which ultimately led to Becky getting the win due to an interference from Asuka, who cost her the win, allowed Becky to hit the manhandle slam and pick up the win. But this did finally lead to a match, an official match booked between Io and Asuka, to several "We Want Kyrie" chants coming out of the crowd.
So first of all, I really loved the Marty Jannetty promo comment from Becky and calling Rhea Shawn Michaels. I thought the promo itself was real good too. And I
Huh.
think that the other thing too, and I'll talk about it now because it does involve it, I really like how WWE didn't just ignore Kyrie. She would when Asuka had her vignette, she basically made mention of the fact that she got rid of Kyrie because she didn't want another EO. And I really liked that they made mention of that. You know what I mean? And thank God we're finally getting that match. Like
Long overdue.
it's I'm a little bit aggravated with the crowd, especially given the fact that Kyrie leaving was via her choice. It wasn't a release. So I think if you want to chant the "We Want" chants, let's do it for the people who got cut that shouldn't have, not the person who left by choice because they wanted to go home.
Yeah, well, that's also kind of bad reporting by the internet wrestling community as well, pairing those things together, and everybody
Yeah.
kind of immediately had to jump to the gun on that before all of the stories were out, right? Because you got to get those clicks. But yeah, I mean, we made mention of it on our very first one that we talked about, and you really should do the right thing, internet, when you're talking about these things, and before you just kind of jump to conclusions, because that's what starts stuff like this, and it is a little bit unfortunate. So,
And let me say this too, real quick, before we move on.
sure.
Where were these chants when Kyrie Sane was there? You want to chant it up because you allegedly want someone. Why don't you show WWE that you actually want them there? And maybe Kyrie Sane would have stayed if she got the react that kind of reaction when she was out there wrestling. But instead you have a lot of these marks that think they're smarter than the average bear, and I'm sorry, but that kind of stuff pisses me off. Like you want to act like you're all high and mighty now and chant for her. Where was this when she was here?
I completely agree with you.
Sorry,
It's that
gotta
way
get
for
out
a
my
lot of people.
soapbox.
No, it's a lot. It's that way for a lot of people, and it's unfortunate that that's just how this stuff goes. But next we had Rey Mysterio versus El Grande Americano. This came from a backstage segment between El Grande Americano, the not original, regular Kaiser Americano. Made note that there's going to be a mask versus mask match at the AAA show. And this led to him basically saying, look, I'm going to test my skills against the greatest luchador that we have here in Rey Mysterio. So they had themselves a match. This was fine. I mean, Ray is definitely starting to show some signs of aging a little bit, but I get it, dude's like in his 50s. So, but still, he could still go. El Grande looked good, obviously original El Grande Americano, and that was another theme of this show that I didn't particularly care for. Is almost every major match, the exception of one, which was a squash, had interference in it. This one obviously had original El Grande Americano causing the interference, allowing Rey Mysterio to pick up the win. You know, hopefully, further in the future. It's actually going to be very interesting to see how they book that match AAA when it actually happens. Um, but yeah, this was fine.
I honestly don't know who you have win that match. Like I feel like it depends on who you where you plan on using El Grande more in the future. You know what I mean? Because Kaiser is so popular in Mexico, but Chad Gable is so loved in the U.S. Like I feel like this actually puts WWE in a really difficult spot as far as that goes.
Yeah. No, for sure. It's almost like you should do this. You should have done this at WrestleMania, like everybody thought you were going to do, but oh well.
Yeah.
Next we had Oba Femi um come out and just destroy Grayson Waller. Waller
R.I.P.
was arguing with Adam Pearce, which led to a match with Oba Femi, and Oba just destroyed him, which was exactly what needed to happen. But the cool part about this was afterwards, Oba taking the mic, seeing him getting better on the microphone is cool. But he basically was like, "Look, I understand everybody's got some shit going on right now, so this is what we're gonna do. You want some, come get some. I'm gonna have an open challenge, and I think this is good for him." In the interim, because obviously everybody is booked and it still keeps the shine on him. And then I think it allows him to kind of like position himself to win King of the Ring if they do that, which is probably what is very likely to happen.
I'm very curious to see because this can be this open challenge can go a couple different ways. I mean, obviously you can use it to keep having Oba squash people,
Mhm.
but with eventually you could also use this to help put other people over too. You know what I mean? You have
Sure.
people come out and even if they don't win, you have them come out and have like a really good showing against Oba. Like you have him crush people, crush people, crush people. Then you finally have someone come out and actually give him a fight. I
Yeah.
think that you can do a lot of real good things with that.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's such a good character. Like you want, I mean, they're monopolizing on it right now. And while I would prefer they treat him like a special attraction, which I think would help shine his star even more, I get it why they're going to be rolling him out there every day, every week rather, and that kind of makes sense to me as well. So I'm fine with it.
Take advantage, strike while the iron's hot. I believe is the saying, right?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know if it's good or bad in every circumstance, but then we had the final match of the evening. And then prior to this, we obviously saw the Judgment Day making their way to the ring, and they came across Stephanie Becker, who they proceeded to beat the crap out of and leave her lying around there. I don't know if they're writing Stephanie off of TV temporarily or how that whole thing is going to work. But we had Raquel and Roxanne defeat Bailey and Lyra Valkyria. Roxanne getting the big hometown pop here because I guess she's from this somewhere in and around this area. And so the crowd was really, really behind Roxanne in this match, and she ultimately got the win by hitting pop rocks on Bailey. And this was kind of due to Liv sort of like, jumping in, trying to interfere with Bailey a little bit towards the end of this match. But they gave all four of these women a lot of time, and every single one of them got a chance to be in the ring and do a little bit of work. So this was all good. I liked
I
everything about
apologize if you
this.
can hear me. My internet went unstable.
Yeah, I didn't call on you yet, so you're good.
Okay.
But go ahead. I talk. I just
No, I missed most of what you said there because my internet, my bandwidth is acting up. As
I
far
just
as I'll just try.
yeah, just recap the match. So
As far as the match itself went, I mean, obviously you got the beatdown on Vakur first, was obviously telling us the storyline that she's not done. However, WWE did come out and say that she suffered a UCL sprain or tear or something. So I wouldn't be surprised if they push off that match for a little while. And then obviously Roxanne being from Laredo, Texas, I'm glad to see she got the win there and WWE didn't do the we're gonna have the hometown person take the pin. As far as the Judgment Day goes, though, I mean, I think we're setting up SummerSlam to be Liv and Roxanne.
I do too. And I've been saying that for a while. I think that that is the right way to go with that because you had that thing with Roxanne not knowing how her allegiances were going to lie as well, kind of when she was talking to Finn.
Yep.
So, yeah, I think Roxanne is going to get a mega baby face turn eventually.
Yeah, I mean, I believe we talked about this when we were pre-booking Liv winning the title, and that Roxanne made the most sense of the other Judgment Day people for her to be the one to potentially take the title off of her. Honestly, I think she should face Liv should face Raquel too, just because of the way she treats both of them. But I think Roxanne needs to be the one to take the title.
Yeah, I don't know about Raquel. I think Raquel is kind of more of just a perennial goon, and I think that Raquel will kind of just be like the sidekick character all of the time. I foresee Raquel being in the Judgment Day for a long time. And I think they're going to probably be recruiting somebody else to join the Judgment Day. Probably another dude eventually will join the Judgment Day as well. I would think sooner rather than later, because I think Reese has made this point a couple of times that the WWE is going to try and turn this into the new Bullet Club, and I could absolutely see them doing it. I mean, this Judgment Day thing has been going on for what, 4 or 5 years now at this point. So,
Yeah,
you know, keep going. It's a hot act, and I would just keep going with it for right now. But I think they need to add some kind of like actual good wrestler to it.
I
Like
mean,
Finn was far and above the best wrestler in the Judgment Day. They need to add somebody with a little bit of credibility instead of turning them into like more of a clown group.
I can't believe you would say that, saying Finn was the best wrestler in the Judgment Day. It's obvious R-Truth was the best wrestler in the Judgment Day.
So that was Monday Night Raw. And what did you think of the show?
Like I said during when in my response to you at the beginning, Raw is really the WWE show to watch. It consistently puts on the best show of the week for WWE. I think that as far as a rating, if you had to pull my arm on giving one, I'd give it a 3.5 out of 5. It was definitely above average. And I mean, it takes a lot for me to go far above average, but it was definitely better. Not that it takes much to be better than SmackDown, but I think that it was good. There was a good progression of matches on the card. There was a good progression of storylines. And I think that WWE is the writers' room on Raw. It is kind of understanding the correct direction to take things with the realism of storytelling.
Yeah. Jacob is a lot of fun, and I think when they really let him just go all out and be what he needs to be, I think he does a great job, and he really proved it tonight when he just snapped and just really gave it to Roman Reigns. I thought that was just absolutely excellent, and I think this match is going to be colossal. I think it's going to be a fantastic main event at Backlash, and I am really, really, really looking forward to it. And I think the chaos that he's going to cause over the
Oh
next
yeah.
2 weeks, I think is going to be a lot of fun. So, I think with that, my final rating for the show is a tongue and death grip out of 5.
You're
So, what's
you're
that?
not wrong. You're not wrong. The chaos is the perfect word for Jacob Fatu.
Yeah,
And like the more they let him lean into that, I think the more fun this is going to be.
yeah, absolutely. So that is our show, guys. Thank you so much as always for joining us. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel if you like this content. And what did you guys think of Raw? Let us know in the comments down below. We do appreciate all the feedback and we do respond to all of it. And we love to incorporate what you guys say into the show. So please continue supporting the channel. We really, really appreciate it. So with that, I have been Mike, joined by Mr. Sean O'Neill. Have yourselves a fantastic day and take care.